do you find polity hard or easy? I like to ask another question. Do you enjoy polity? Do you like reading polity, or does it intimidates you? Because what I have heard is people are not very happy with their civics ka test books when they are in school. So I want to understand from you, do you enjoy reading polity, or are you scared of it? What is the present situation? Hard, but hard to cram data. Okay. Okay, no, I don't enjoy because it's very hard for me. Okay, perfect. I love it, but ma'am, hard to remember. So what my experience says is that two kind of children that I meet, or students rather, that I see in my classes. One who absolutely enjoy polity, they love polity, and the other set which ऐसा सोचते हैं, okay, let me do it towards the end, अभी नहीं, let me postpone it, I'll do it later, because they don't enjoy polity. So we don't have to go in both the extremes, because people who end up liking polity a lot spend too much time reading polity, which again is not the purpose of this webinar. The idea is to help you maximize the resources that you have so that it converts into marks. That's important, because at the end of the day, as sir said, we don't want you to become subject matter experts. We don't want you to become scholars. Uske liye hum log hain. What we want is you get those marks in your prelims, get those marks in your mains, and that's what will be the purpose of this webinar as well. I also don't want you to be the next end of it, which is when you don't like polity, because you have to have certain degree of fun with the concepts as well. So what I can promise you is, if you do it the right way, it is not a subject that you're going to dread. You're going to enjoy it, that's for sure, because there's so many nuances of polity that you see around you. It happens in everyday life. You see it in your newspapers, you see it in the way your life is impacted. So it's definitely not that subject which you should be fearful of, that's for sure. So what I know is, if you follow this format, that problem will be sorted, and we are eventually going to translate into marks, because at the end of the day, that's what we want. So I'll just brief you through what is the purpose of this webinar, right? I'll just brief you through how we'll be proceeding with this webinar, and what is going to be the structure of it. So the aim of the workshop, as I mentioned here, and I'm sure you're able to see this, see the PPT as well. Just let me know in the chat box if it is visible to you. The aim is to give you a very step-by-step guide. So I want to tell you from where should you start, what should be the absolute basics, how do you build upon it, and I also want to tell you alongside how can you lay the rock solid foundation for your mains. So I don't want to keep it restricted to your prelims, because at the end of the day, you have to go and write your mains as well. And I want to start from absolute basics, so that if you're a beginner, you know where to start and how to build on that foundation. Now, you have to stay till the end, because towards the end of it, I have kept two important things. One is some bonus pointers, which we often forget. And second is which comes from my experience of hosting a lot of workshops now. And that is, most of you attend these workshops, but don't carry the learning forward. So I want to make sure that the learnings of this workshop settle well with you, and you actually implement this in your preparation. So for the next 1.5 hours, I want all of you to be with me, to hear me out, to understand what we are doing here. And then, of course, we'll be open to questions as well. So towards the end of the session, I'll take all your questions. You must be seeing a Q&A section. That's where you can put up your questions. Towards the end, I'll take up your questions one by one. So let's get started. How is the energy of the house? Let me know in the chat box. Are you happy? Are you excited? Should we begin? Because that little level of excitement is required. Even if it is, UPSC CSE preparation, you don't need to make it so dull and dry. Are you excited or not? Let me know in the chat box. Awesome. I like that energy. Most of you are happy. Abhirup says yes, as always. Oh, that's nice. Awesome. Then let's get started. Let us begin. Right. Just a minute. Okay. So let's first understand, why is polity so important? So of course, every teacher will come here and tell you my subject is important. That's our job. But I'll be a little factual here. Of course, all subjects are important. So is Indian economy. Ketan sir is going to tell you Indian economy important is, and it is, right? But the important thing is, this is one subject which lays foundation for a lot of other subjects. And in that context, it becomes more important. So what I'm trying to say is, if you understand the basics of polity, it gets much easier for you to understand newspapers. You are able to then relate to current affairs better. If you know your budget basics, it gets easier for you to understand even budget. So, what I'm trying to tell you here is when you know your polity well, it definitely makes sure that you have a strong foundation. Now, of course, if I talk in terms of percentage, there are 18 to 20 questions every year. Of course, this number fluctuates, but even on the lower end, you're going to get those 11, 12 questions. And if we go by the 2024 standard, then it can be even 18 questions or 20 questions. So, why 18, 20? Because those two questions, some claim are from modern Indian history, and a polity teacher is going to claim that it is from polity. But even if I take an average, 14 to 15 questions in your prelims is huge. Then if you look at your GS paper 2, of course, a huge chunk is Indian polity, of course, along with governance and international relations. But the point here is if you're good with your polity, there are two things that are settled. One, all your subjects which are related to polity, you get a very strong hold over it. And second, very important is the nature of questions is predictable. Contrary to what people may tell you, of course, the trends are changing. But even with those changing trends, what I can assure you is the questions are doable. So, what I'm trying to say by questions are doable is if you're done with your basic sources, if you have revised well, if you've made sure that you've solved your PYQs, the surprise element to polity is much less than other subjects. So if you compare it to, say, modern Indian history, or you compare it to even, say, subjects like science and tech or economy, the nature of questions is pretty much on the predictable line. Now, predictable, say, I don't really mean to say somebody is going to give you a guess. Okay, these are the questions that are going to appear in 2026 and those are going to appear. No, what I'm trying to say is if you're done with your basic sources, if you're done with your revision, we are sure that the area from where the question is coming from is something that you have done, you are aware of, and the possibility of therefore getting the questions right is on your side. So I hope I've established the fact that polity is important, because once you know that it is important, you are ready to invest time there. In fact, we suggest when you're beginning your preparation, the first subject that you should pick up should be polity. One, because of course it is interesting. And second, as I said, it's going to help you understand other topics better, other subjects better. Now, even before I go on to the sources, there are some primers that I want to give you. And the first one is conceptual clarity. So even when I was asking you, okay, what do you think about polity? What is your opinion? Do you like it? Some of you are saying there are a lot of facts that have to be memorized. Now, I'll be very honest with you. It has to be a mix of both. So there's some people who are going to tell you polity is all about facts. बहुत सारा learn करना पड़ेगा and there's no conceptual understanding involved. There is nothing farther from truth there because there are a lot of concepts. And if you understand those concepts, you really don't need to memorize a lot of stuff. There is reasoning to a lot of things, to the constitutional amendments, to how power is shared between the center and the state, what is rule of law. All of these are conceptual topics. And definitely, conceptual clarity is something that is important for polity. Even if you look at the current trend of questions, which I'll be showing you as we move forward, you would see that a lot of questions come from those conceptual aspects. So even before you get started, be very sure that concepts are something that you'll have to hold on to. But this does not mean you'll not have to memorize. I don't want to paint that picture. So there are questions like how many times delimitation commission has been established. Now, of course, you need to memorize it. So the idea is it has to be a mix of both. You have to start with conceptual clarity, but eventually you'll have to memorize things also. And that's what is the purpose of this webinar, to tell you how to gain that conceptual clarity. And at the same time, how do you ensure that you're good with memorizing those facts as well? Third and very important thing, which I would say even before we proceed, is revision is something that is very, very important in polity. Now, of course, it is important for any subject, but why it gets all the more important for polity is, as I told you, the questions that are asked to you are from domains that is within your reach. Now, what separates somebody who is able to answer those questions in prelims and somebody who is not able to answer those questions is somebody who is revised multiple times and somebody who is not revised multiple times. So, multiple revisions is something that you should commit to from day one in your plan. I'm sure since you are beginners, you will come up with a plan. And in that plan, make sure that you have given adequate time to revision. On our UPSCprep.com's channel as well, we have shared the schedule, and you must have seen there's enough space given to revision there, and that's the reason. So make sure that whenever you're sitting with your plan, when you're planning, drafting your plan, make sure that you're giving adequate time to revision instead of hoarding more books. So please don't go to the market and buy any other flashy book that is available. बहुत सारे resources हैं. There are a lot of books available, but not every book has to be collected by you because that's not your aim. So multiple revisions would be another thing that I would stress on from the word go. And as I said, the questions are definitely doable if you are done with your basic resources. So what does this mean? This means that the return on investment is good. So yes, if you're giving a certain number of days to polity, you know that there's going to be a return attached. And trust me, that's a rare thing when it comes to UPSC preparation because there are a lot of things where you invest time, but you're not very sure whether it's going to give you results or not. But this is one area where I promise you, if you give sufficient time to it, if you revise it, the return on investment is pretty good. So while we are taking our classes now, the UPSC Essential course would be beginning very soon, and I start that particular course with polity. So we start with NCRTs. Now, I would emphasize on the fact, and I'll just move to NCRTs now. Even that class 11th NCRT, if you do diligently, you will be able to solve 4 questions in your prelims. Such is the importance of multiple revision and reading. So for sure, there are few things that I want you to remember even before we begin. One is don't think it's all about conceptual clarity or only about memorization. It has to be the mix of both, and you have to accept this reality before you begin. Revisions have to be taken very, very seriously. The questions are doable, which means the return on investment is pretty good. Now that we have laid the foundation, let me tell you what should be some of the pillars of your preparation to polity. What do you mean by pillars? See, the entire workshop is designed in such a way that I'll first move you through the basics, which are the absolute necessity that you have to do even before you start making sense of the current affairs. And then what can you do a little extra to make sure that you get those 3, 4 questions right, which can be definitely the differentiating factor as to whether you are going to be writing mains or not. So I have designed this workshop around these 3 pillars only: the basics, the current, and the extra edge. Now, what do you mean by basics, ma'am? Basics se mera matlab hai the static, which so many of us take for granted. So whenever you start with your preparation, the first question students ask me is, कि मैम पॉलिटी की current affairs कहाँ से पढ़ें? Where do we read polity current affairs? So that's a valid question. Of course, you have to read current affairs. But hear me out. To be able to make sense of what is happening in Parliament, what is this removal motion against the Speaker? What's going on with respect to a private member bill which was presented? You need to know certain basics. So unless I know who is a speaker, unless I'm aware what is the removal proceedings like, unless I now know who is a private member, what is a private member bill, it gets very difficult for me to make sense of current affairs, point number one. And more important than that is, even if you have a good look at question papers of last 5 years, you'll understand that while current affairs is important, static is definitely the queen still. So what I'm trying to tell you is, when you're starting with your preparation, and this is for beginners, you should not obsess over getting more and more into understanding the current affairs. We have to do it. But before that, you have to make sure that your basics, your static is very, very strong. And of course, it sounds very cliched, but yes, you have to begin with NCRTs. आपको शुरू NCRT से करना है. You have to start with NCRTs. Now, why do I say that? And कौन सी NCRT पढ़े? That's going to be your next question. So some people are going to tell you कि start from 6th and 12th तक NCRTs करनी है. Some are going to tell you, okay, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th कर लो. There's no generic answer to this. And I'll tell you why. You'll have to first gauge your stage of preparation and your understanding of polity. अभी हमें पता कैसे चलेगा? So I have seen students जिनको वो 6th 7th स्टैंडर्ड की एनसीईआरटी नहीं समझ में आती है. They're not able to make sense of 6th 7th NCERT, and no judgments here. It can be because of so many reasons. You may not be interested. हो सकता है आपको टीचर अच्छा ना मिला, right? And that's going to change once you're with us. Just saying. So maybe you were, not interested. You were more interested in maths. You just, passed your exam. Maybe it was CBSE board, तो marks aa jate the. No offense, but just saying, it can be any and every reason. But what matters is you have to first find out at what stage you are in. So if you are somebody who is absolute beginner in the sense that you're not able to make sense of what is written in class 7th ka NCERT or class 11th ka NCERT, class 8th ka NCERT, then I suggest take a quick reading. Those are nice books, easy books. But of course, a lot of factors matter here. Are you a full time preparation student or you are a working professional? You have to manage your time accordingly. But if I have time and I know nothing about polity, I'll spend a day and read 6th class, another day to read 7th class, and another day to read 8th class. Those are not heavy books. You can definitely read them in a day, that's for sure. But if you think you're comfortable with these books, you know these basics, then you can move to 9th and 10th. If you think you are even fair with your 9th and 10th ka books, then what is absolutely necessary is your class 11th NCERT. So, ma'am, this does not answer my query. It does. Listen to me very carefully. If you have gauged and understood that I'm absolutely not understanding Prime Minister, President, I don't know what is state, I don't know what is union, then please read. There is no shame in reading your 6th, 7th, 8th NCERTs. Those are beautiful books. They're only going to take a day. So, again, I repeat, sit with those NCERTs. They're available for free. Download the PDF, look at them. You think they don't make sense to me? Fine. Allocate a day and complete it. I've seen people wasting a day thinking पढ़े या नहीं इससे बढ़िया पढ़ ही लेते. So that day you can dedicate to one NCERT. No need of making notes of these NCERTs. Just read them, take a good idea. There's a thing that you don't understand, Google it, move ahead. Of course, if you're part of our course, UPSC Essentials, we build from the basics. So the first classes that I'll be taking would be your NCERTs only. So हम शुरू से start करते हैं, all of these NCERTs we cover. But if you're doing it on your own also, please sit, gauge your preparation level, gauge your understanding level, and please dedicate them a day each. Now, what you can't choose to ignore at whatever stage of preparation you are in, whatever you think you know, you don't know, I don't care, but this has to be your absolute priority. You have to commit, and मैं आपसे by the way एक promise भी sign करवाऊंगी towards the end of the workshop. I don't want it to be preachy. मैंने बोल दिया, आपने सुन लिया, आप चले गए. No, our aim is to make sure that you follow what we are saying here. So you please stay back. I have some commitment letters to get signed from you people, so you better be here. Now this is your priority. This is your class 11th book, Indian Constitution at Work, and this is your class 11th ka book, Political Theory. So if you think you're fine with 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, or if you dedicated a day and read it, fine. These are two books that I want you to invest your maximum time on. I want you to make sure that you understand every line given in these two books. This is a gold mine. This is a beautiful book. And I'll tell you how this helps. One, there have been verbatim questions from this book. Yes, when I say verbatim, direct questions aaye hain is kitab se. Direct, yes. Second, this is an absolutely beautiful book to build your basics. बहुत प्यारी किताब है that helps you build your basics. It helps you understand key ideas, core concepts in a very, very easy language. So if you see the language of this book as well, it's written in very good, clean language, easy language. And another beautiful thing about this book is this can help you write better answers also. So I repeat, if you look at the way introduction has been written in this book, the way conclusions have been written in this book, they can be something that you can reproduce in your mains answers. So you literally pick up lines and use it in your answers. So the fact is, and even the book on political theory, concepts like justice, liberty, secularism, where by the way, UPSC has been emphasizing a lot in last 3-4 years, asking you conceptual questions. So if I were you and if I'll have to dedicate most amount of time for my NCERT block, then it's going to be these two books, Indian Constitution at Work and Political Theory. Thereon, I would move to class 12th ka book. Of course, class 12th mein, there are two books. One is about contemporary world politics, which is not related to political Indian polity. You can read that book for a better understanding of international relations. That's a good book to understand basics of international relations. And another book is India After Independence. So that is a good book to kind of understand the beginning chapters of your modern Indian history, and then again towards the flag end of chapters for your Indian polity. I'm going to summarize it all for you so that you're not confused. Do I have to start with NCRT? Yes, इसमें कोई doubt नहीं है. Which NCRT? I can't give you a generic answer, because if I give you a generic answer, that would be wrong. Not every one of you is in the same stage of preparation. One of the most important things to do in this preparation is to understand your stage. So sit with class 6th, see if it is making sense to you. If it is making sense, hata do. If it is not making sense, sit that day, dedicate 7 hours, put a timer, just take eating and washroom wala break in between and finish it. Same, repeat it for your 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th. You just need 5 days. If you think you are okay with these books, that's your time. You move to your class 11th NCRT, which I want you to be very, very thorough with. And then you move over to your class 12th. ये एकदम फर्स्ट टाइम एस्पिरेंट्स के लिए, बिगिनिंग एस्पिरेंट्स के लिए है. Now we are done with the first part of our understanding, that is NCRT. So a quick yes or no in the chat box. Do you think you are with me? Do you think that makes sense to you? Are you aligned or not? Give me a yes or a no. फटाफट से बढ़िया. ये क्या ऐसे छोटा छोटा yes है? एनर्जी वाला yes. Yeah, you people are going to be civil servants. Yes, I like that. Awesome. Like that energy. Good, good, good. Yes, yes, yes. Good, Abhiroop. Great. Awesome. Lovely. हाँ जी, हाँ जी. One thing that has to be on your side is your energy. वो तो आपकी होनी चाहिए ना? Yes, Girija. Awesome. Lovely. Now, of course, we are done with our NCRT. We are going to move to Lakshmikant. But usse pehle, I'll take a break and I'll tell you about PYQs. Because some of you will have this feeling of leaving now. थक जाते लोग, इतना ही attention span है. So before you leave, I want you to listen to me about previous year's questions. By the way, those who stay till the end, that would be test of your first of your abilities in this preparation. Because one thing that will be tested would be your ability to stay. I think Abhijit sir can answer that better. The ability to stay is one of the most important abilities. Anyway.
Absolutely, ma'am. Completely in agreement with you. And I think that is one ability that a lot of people are, as you very correctly pointed out, missing these days because of our reality being, drowned in social media.
I
So
agree.
please.
So we have got a validation from sir as well there, so you know what I was hinting at. So tell yourself, I'll have to stay back, ठीक है? मन करेगा जाने का, but you have to stay. So I'll just take 1 minute and I'll tell you why everybody keeps telling you PYQs are important. And I don't agree with the fact that you should pick up your PYQs when you are done with a substantial portion. So where does that mindset come from? I should pick PYQs when I'm done with polity. अभी इसमें एक problem है. I'll tell you what is the problem here. When you say that I'm going to wait to complete my syllabus, one is you keep waiting, point number one. Second, you're assuming that PYQs is something that you have to solve after a topic. Now I'll tell you what is the purpose of we telling you to do PYQs. First is pattern identification. What I mean by this is when you look at PYQs, you understand what UPSC is asking. पूछ क्या रहे हैं? Say I have to travel to Kerala. I first need to understand Kerala में कैसा weather रहता है. Does it rain or not right now? What should I carry accordingly? What are the places that I'm going to visit? So I need to know where I'm going into. What are the areas that I'll be venturing into? So PYQs is like a guide. ये पहले हो चुका है. These are the questions that UPSC is asking. This is how the questions have been asked. So my purpose is not to just look at the questions. My purpose is to see how is UPSC asking questions. तो ये बात को समझो that why do we want you to look at PYQs from the beginning of your preparation is, even if I'm not able to solve one question, no problem. I'm looking at the questions and I'm realizing, okay, they ask about the election procedure of president. Okay, they're asking me about constitutionalism. They're asking me about what is constitution. Oh, they're even asking me about the 73rd Amendment. Even if I'm not able to answer even one question, I don't care. But looking at those questions, I'm realizing what is the demand of this exam. What are the areas that UPSC is asking questions from? And I'll give you One very important tip here, there's a psychological benefit attached with looking at PYQs. We call it as priming. So I suggest to my students, जो भी मेरे students हैं मैं उनको कहती हूँ, whenever you start to sit, say you're reading an absolutely new book, don't start reading it. Just flip through the pages once. Just look at the keywords. Just look at the index. Just make your brain familiar with the words. This is called as priming. You're priming your brain, and suddenly your brain realizes, okay, this is not new. I've seen this before. So, how it is easier for us to drive in places that we have already been to because we are familiar with how the surroundings are. Looking at PYQs, keeping them on your table, keep going back to them also gives you a psychological advantage where you feel, okay, I know this. I am aware of how UPSC asks questions. So, what I'm trying to tell you here is even if you're a beginner, don't wait to look at PYQs when you'll be completing your syllabus. Nahi. From the day you're starting to prepare, just look at those questions. See what kind of questions have been asked. And once you're done with, say, one chapter of Lakshmikant, say you're done with Parliament, that's where you can even start solving questions. So we also give you those practice-wise questions as a part of our program. Topic-wise questions as a part of our essentials course. So you can literally pick up, okay, president pe ye questions aaye hain and I'm solving it. Or you can pick up any other book. Say Lakshmikant has these topic-wise question sets. You can solve those as well. But the point is you have to do it regularly. And I suggest maintaining an error log. So what is this error log? You can call it as your diary of mistakes. अभी मैंने NCERT कर ली. I am done with my base book. I'm going to tell you what this base book is. I'm done with my base book. I've read the chapters and I'm solving questions on president. पढ़ते वक्त तो बड़ा लग रहा था, मैम ने पढ़ा दिया था, आ गया. I also read it. I think I'm very confident, but I made a mistake. Now, what kind of mistake was it? Was it a conceptual error? Was I overconfident? Had I not revised? I'm going to quickly write there this topic, this mistake. I categorize it as a conceptual error or I categorize it as a factual error. Believe me or not, this is going to be like your personal error log at the end of the year. When you're done with everything, sitting for your prelims, you literally know कि मेरे से कहाँ गलती होती है. And imagine if you get to know where you make mistakes, you sure would be ready to correct them, right? So again, day one, PYQ should be with you. I told you the reasons. They help you understand trend. They actually make you familiar with the exam pattern. As soon as you're done with a topic, make sure that you solve relevant questions from there. You have to do it regularly and maintain an error log where you write कि भैया यहाँ पे मेरे से गलती हुई and this is how I have to correct my mistake. Make sure that you also analyze answers. So even if you've marked the correct answer, see why the other options were wrong. Because these are PYQs. So even options have been crafted very skillfully. So okay, abhi to tumhe answer aa gaya, but maybe in exam hall you would have marked B. So why is B not the correct answer? So that's why I said most of you lose it here. The kya yaar, itna kaun karega? Itna karna padega. I'm not going to quote any fairy tale pictures for you. This is how you have to do it. What I can assure you is if you do it this way, polity is not going to be something that you would be worried about. So here comes the book which is in question. Abhi tak humne kya kiya? I'll just give you a quick overview. I told you have to be good with your NCRTs. To make sure that you're here, I told you about PYQs as well. And I told you why they are important, why you should not reserve them for the last. Ice-cream thodi hai yaar, last mein khayenge. Right? It is very important to take them along in your journey at every stage. Now, this book. So, I know what you're thinking. Is Lakshmikant enough? Now, what surprises me most is people who ask this question, is Lakshmikant enough, are people who have not read it. So, what are you trying to say? You have not read something and you are telling me, is it enough? Contradiction समझ रहे हो यहाँ पे? Problem समझ रहे हो? See, while definitely there is merit to the fact that doing Lakshmikant alone will not help you solve all the questions in prelims. There is a merit to this fact. But at the same time, there are so many questions that can be solved using Lakshmikant. I still maintain that. And मेरे बोलने की जरूरत नहीं है. Look at PYQs. You don't need anybody to kind of prove it to you. Look at PYQs. So because I'm not able to solve those four questions, I should not read Lakshmikant. Does not sounds like a very good idea to me. Lakshmikant is still important. Unless, of course, there's a better book written, you don't know. We may get a better one. But right now, this is a good book. The problem is you need to move ahead from Lakshmikant, but before that, you have to do Lakshmikant. So, to get a very good basic understanding of things, this book is to be done very diligently. एक myth और बता दूं. Reading Lakshmikant is not is equals to being able to solve questions. So there's a joke that we crack that unless your Lakshmikant is all worn out, tone, so the proof is not in your favor. So what I'm trying to say is you have to read it multiple times. See, there can be two ways to it. If you are a part of a course like us, again, this is not to say you can't do it without the course, but if you're part of the course, of course, we walk you through the concepts. If you have decided to study on your own, then you will have to tell yourself from day one, okay, I have to read this book conceptually. Now, what do you mean by reading the book conceptually? You don't have to start with chapter number one, start memorizing everything, move ahead to chapter number two. There's nothing that you're going to retain in this manner. So, start the chapter with the idea that I have to understand what is written here. And then I have to revise it multiple times to be able to memorize it. While I'm doing this, do I make notes? The book is already in notes format. So do you make notes of notes? Does not make sense to me. So nahi banane hai. Kya karna hai? I'm going to tell you that as well. I'll be showing you some samples of how do you make tables. वो भी I'm going to show you. But yes, for that you'll have to stay. मैंने बोला, those who stay are going to get the rewards. So I'm going to tell you how to make those tables. But do you make notes of Lakshmikant? No, because it's already in notes format. What you rather should be doing is revising it multiple times. Now, ma'am, should I do it cover to cover? So, should I start with chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3? No. So, what I've done for you is I have made a topic listing of Lakshmikant as to how you should be reading this book. So, we call it as the cluster approach. Now, the beauty of this book is, of course, the chapters are shorter, easier to understand. But when you read it in chronology, the link is missing. So, what I'm trying to say is a good idea is you read president and then you read governor. So, you understand, okay, president के पास ये है, governors के ये है, ये difference है. You can do a comparative analysis also. And it gets easier for you to understand those topics connected to each other. So I'll be providing that list to you. It will be available on our Telegram channel. That list is basically the division of chapters of Lakshmikant in a cluster format. एक group बना के आपको दिया है that you start with this, then you move over to this, then you move over to this. इससे क्या होगा? You read Lakshmikant in this clustered manner, and since these topics are grouped in such a way that they fit in organically, you get a comprehensive understanding of that particular topic. तो अभी आपको क्या करना चाहिए? Once you're done with the chapter, solve MCQs. Once you're done with the cluster, solve MCQs from that cluster. Once you're done with second cluster, go back and solve MCQs from the first cluster as well. This way, you'll get a hold of this book. Now, kitni baar? At least 4 revisions are required. Some may need even 5 revisions. Needed. Because what happens is, in the first reading, you get conceptual clarity. Second reading, you get some more conceptual clarity. Third, you start memorizing. Fourth, you start consolidating those facts. So be very, but of course, I'm not intimidating you and saying कि ये एक दिन में करना है. We have till the time you appear for your exam. I'm talking about that. You should be clear in your head because some people get worried. मैम लक्ष्मीकांत हो गई, मेरे से क्वेश्चन सॉल्व नहीं हो रहे. अरे भाई लक्ष्मीकांत हो गई का मतलब क्या है? कैसे हो गई? मिक्सी में जूस बना के पी लिया था. ऑफ कोर्स हो गई से मतलब यू हैव टेकन वन रीडिंग, राइट? सो डोंट वरी, इट्स ओके. Even today when I read Lakshmikant, I find something new there. Abhi tak bhi. There's something that you'll find even after your 20th and 25th reading as well. ऐसा भी होता है. There's a fact that okay, I missed this. So that's fine. If you're not able to solve it पहली reading के बाद, I'm not worried. But yes, if you're not able to solve questions after your second or third reading, then I'm worried. So quick overview, my dear students, we started with NCRTs, we moved over to Lakshmikant. Now, there's a lot of debate about Bare Act going on. कि Lakshmikant काफी नहीं है, so we have to do Bare Act. Now, I'll tell you why this debate started. मतलब क्यों आया ये debate कि Bare Act we should be reading. Because there were some questions that were asked verbatim from Bare Act. मतलब Bare Act का एक article उठाया. सबसे पहले, those of you who don't know what Bare Act is, let me explain that to you. ध्यान से सुनना. Bare Act is nothing but the Constitution. Bare Act. So Constitution के articles written publisher के हिसाब से with a little explanation of that article. So Bare Act would be article number 1 of the Constitution, then a little explanation of that article, then second, then third. ऐसे articles are written in this Bare Act. Is nothing but the Constitution of India. Now, do you really think it is possible to read Bare Act? It's like reading Constitution of India, preparing Constitution of India. So don't be in that FOMO कि you have to prepare पूरा Bare Act. That is not possible. How are you going to memorize all the articles of the Indian Constitution? That's not doable. तो फिर मैम आपने क्यों लिखा है Bare Act यहाँ पर? So what I'm saying is, when you're beginning your preparation, keep a copy of Bare Act with you. I have with me PM Bakshi. It's a fairly decent Bare Act. If you want, you can buy of universal publication, yeah, you can simply download the Constitution of India. Now, say how we do it in our classes is, say I'm teaching Prime Minister. So I'll ask them to open Article 74 and I'll ask them to read it and connect it to the content that I'm teaching in class. If you're doing it on your own, how you can do it is, you were reading Lakshmikant, it said Article 74, open your Bare Act, read Article 74 from your Bare Act. How this helps is you know what are the exact words given in the Constitution. So if tomorrow they're going to pick up that article and ask you a question on it in your prelims, you are aware of the keywords from Bare Act. And trust me, if you've read Lakshmikant, you already know that article. The only thing is, Bare Act gives you a familiarity of what are the words used in the Constitution itself. So the right way of using Bare Act is not to pick up Bare Act and start reading from page 1. Either, if you're part of classes, you do it alongside, or if you're doing it on your own. How you pick up Bare Act is, you read something from Lakshmikant, the article is mentioned there, open Bare Act, read it. Very important. If something is in current affairs, that's your sign. That's your sign. Universe is giving you signs. ऐसे तो universe signs देता है. तो you pick up कि okay, article 143 is in news. That's my sign. 3 times in past 3 newspapers I've read article 143. Quickly open your Bare Act and read that article. So how would I know what to read from Bare Act? I've answered that for you. Either you get that answer as a part of classes, or you get that answer by reading your Lakshmikant, and of course by being very aware of current affairs. What is happening in the current affairs? Something that has been repeated a number of times in current affairs, any article that has been repeated, you pick your Bare Act and revise it from there. So quick summary, Lakshmikant is important. It is not out of fashion. It is important. You have to do it before you start in the FOMO of कि Lakshmikant enough नहीं है. Whenever you have to answer this question, ask yourself, मेरी Lakshmikant हो गई क्या? Then I'll come to the question whether it is enough or not. So Lakshmikant, Bare Act, concepts, key points, MCQs, multiple times, connect to current affairs. मुझे जल्दी से बता दो, are you with me? Are we so far absolutely aligned or not? क्या बोलते हो? अभी रुक, there's a request. Please write your questions in the Q&A. उससे क्या होगा? I'll have all of your questions together and I'm going to answer them. है ना? It gets easier for me. Beautiful. Lovely. So, how many of you are scared now? Does this scares you or does this makes you excited? कितने लोग डर गए? इतना कैसे करेंगे? And how many of you? So no, you should not be scared. A bit scared? Okay, I understand that. That's a good way to put it. A little overwhelming for sure, but also exciting. Yeah, that's a part of the process. Huh. So it's good to be scared right now and do it the right way. Then do it the wrong way and then get scared. समझ रहे हो? Scared तो दोनों में ही है. Okay. Either you start scared and get clearer, or you get started and then get scared. तो वो ज़्यादा खराब है. So good that you are scared a little here. ठीक है. Yes, so any of your questions, again, I would request, please put it up in the Q&A so that I can take it towards the end of the workshop. Now, this book, DD Basu, अभी नहीं करना इसको, ठीक है? This is just for people who I'll not be meeting. Some of you will be meeting in the essentials course. If I'll not be meeting from you after this, well, of course, I'm sure you're going to come to other workshops. But say you decide not to stay, then this book DD Basu is again something that you should keep with you. पर कब? Chronology समझना. You started with NCRT, you're done with your Lakshmikant. Now is the time to pick up DD Basu. So, very beautiful book. बड़ी प्यारी किताब है. Such good language. अच्छा conceptual clarity. But remember, polity is not the only subject that you have to prepare, right? So अभी और भी workshops होंगे. निमीश सर लेंगे history की. Then Ketan sir is going to take for economy, and everybody is going to tell you ये subject पढ़ो. सही भी है, because all subjects are important. So one thing that you should not forget is you don't have to become a polity expert. That's why I don't suggest reading DD Basu cover to cover. So what can we do? We have to make best use of this book. अभी कैसे इसका बेस्ट यूज कर सकते हैं? आई एम डन विद लक्ष्मीकांत, आई एम डन विद बेयर एक्ट, मतलब अलोंगसाइड द इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग्स एनसीईआरटी, पिक अप दीज 5 चैप्टर्स. इतना ही चाहिए मुझे तुमसे. These 5 chapters you read nicely. And I'll tell you why I'm specifying on these 5 chapters. They give you the foundation to write good answers. So the lines, the concepts written in DD Basu for these 5 chapters make your answers for GS2 better. And these are also the areas where you get difficult questions from. So a little more understanding in these chapters increases your overall understanding of polity. तो भाई सोर्सेज हमने सेट कर लिए हैं. एनसीईआरटी, लक्ष्मीकांत, कीप बेयर एक्ट अलोंग साइड. प्लीज डोंट गेट ओवरवेल्म्ड बाय बेयर एक्ट. यू आर नॉट सपोज टू मेमोराइज इट. सोचो ना, हु विल बी एबल टू डू इट, है ना? इट्स इम्पॉसिबल. बट अ स्ट्रैटेजिक यूज ऑफ द बेयर एक्ट along with these 5 chapters from DD Basu. अब static is sorted. And PYQs mat bhulna. That's why I emphasized on it even before we started. So my static pillar is done. Now let's talk about current affairs. So what kind of questions they ask you from polity current affairs? 2 kinds of questions. One, which are directly from current affairs, and one which are derived from current affairs. अभी ये अलग क्या है मैम? डायरेक्ट एंड डिराइव्ड, व्हाट डू यू मीन? सो स्टे विथ मी एंड यू विल अंडरस्टैंड. See this question, for example. They asked you this question in Prelims 2025. They ask you about the governor of the state, and then they ask you about the president of India. क्या वो रिजर्व कर सकते बिल? आई एम नॉट ओवरवेलमिंग यू विद द कंटेंट बिकॉज आई नो सम ऑफ यू हैव नॉट स्टार्टेड विद पॉलिटी. सो घबराओ मगर अगर ये नहीं आता है तो नहीं आएगा बिकॉज यू हैव नॉट रेड इट. I just want to bring in a point here that the question was asked because this was in news with regards to Tamil Nadu governor. The idea was the delaying of bills was happening. There were questions to and fro. Therefore, specifically a question on can the governor reserve a bill? What can a president do when a bill is reserved? Was asked. Now you tell me, is this a static question or is this a current affair question? Because they are not asking you about Tamil Nadu governor. They're not asking you about Tamil Nadu Legislative Assembly. They're asking you a core static question on governor. But the problem is, or rather the beauty is, the static question is derived from current affairs. तो मैम इसका हम करें क्या? What I'm trying to say is, when some issue is repeatedly in news, that's your sign to revise the static associated with that topic. This is still a static question, but I know my priorities now. That because Article 143 was in news this time, because Speaker has been in news repeatedly, the removal motion has been in news repeatedly, with regards to biases, Speaker has been in news repeatedly. So I know that my priority should be to revise Speaker chapter from my book. That's why I also suggest, ये बहुत help करता है in your mains also. So what I suggest is, keep noting, since you'll be reading current affairs repeatedly, keep noting down your super 30 topics. Super 30 topics are topics that have been repeatedly in news. So likho ki this is the 4th time I'm reading about speaker. I know this topic is important. So list down your super 30 topics, and you know that these are absolute basic topics that I have to revise before I appear for my prelims. So these are the questions which are derived from current affairs but are static in nature. See this question, for example, they asked you about the ethics committee because again, Mahua was expelled from Lok Sabha, and there was an entire news on 3-4 days continuously they were reporting about ethics committee. So you know कि ethics committee मुझे तैयार करके जानी है. Now it looks like a static question again, but it has been derived from current affairs. So if you've been reading our current affairs magazine core, how many of you have read that magazine? We share it on our Telegram for free. नहीं पढ़ी है तो पढ़ लेना. Absolute gold. सच में not saying it because it's part of UPSC prep, but I really wish every student, reads that magazine first. Once. एक बार उसको read करके देखना. It has been so beautifully curated. And notice that. So whatever I'm saying is part of the entire philosophy. If you read that magazine, you would see after the current context, we give you the basics with regards to that topic. उसके पीछे ये philosophy है. So you'll see in that magazine, if the removal motion was in news, there's an entire section that will be dedicated to explaining कि speaker का removal होता कैसे है. So we know you have your Lakshmikant, but as we are we hardly want to move these days. So बड़ा मुश्किल है कि लक्ष्मीकांत खोलूं और speaker revise करूं. So we make your life easy there by giving you that speaker वहीं पर. So make it a habit. If you're reading something in current affairs, make it a habit to revise it from your static. And I think that magazine can help you. या कुछ भी और आप पढ़ रहे हो, I'm not saying you read that magazine. Whatever you are reading, make sure that you go back to your basics. Very important. Then you'll be able to solve questions like these. And then there's some direct questions from current affairs. So याद करो मैंने क्या बोला था? From current affairs, there are two set of questions. One which are derived from current affairs and one which are directly from current affairs. For example, this one, the Nari Shakti Vandan Adhiniyam. Now, any new amendment, any new bill, these are very important. I'll be giving you a list of important topics from current affairs. But this is an example of a direct question. So, monumental thing is happening. This has been debated for so long now. There should be women reservation. So, if you're missing it, तो आप गलती कर रहे हैं ना. This has to be your super 30 topic. Anybody can tell you this is important. So I have to make sure that I know all the basics for a question like this. Monumental change in Indian polity, Indian political structure. This is an example of a direct question from current affairs. I'll repeat, derived from current affairs and directly from current affairs. So, ma'am, we have understood that current affairs is important, but how do I do these current affairs? So the classic debate, should I read newspapers? Well, I am on the read the newspaper lobby. And I'll give you my reasoning for it. Don't copy anybody's reasoning. Don't follow anybody blindly. Use your own logic and use your own reasoning and then follow what suits you. I'll tell you why I think newspaper reading is important. So I don't want you to give 3 hours to newspapers, of course, but a dedicated 1.5 hour to newspaper, 1 hour at least, 45 minutes at least is very helpful. And I'll tell you the reason for it. Newspaper is not supposed to just give you facts. Newspaper एक साथ कई काम करता है. See, when you read newspaper, you read and you comprehend. You try to make sense of what is written. That is the first thing that you develop by reading newspapers. That is comprehension. अभी सोचो किसी को समझना आ गया. The game gets so easy. If I learn to comprehend what is written, एक comprehension तो लाइफ में आ जाए तो मजा आ जाएगा. समझ में आ जाए कि कोई क्या बोल रहा है, what they are trying to say. Most of your life problems are solved, right? So if I start learning to comprehend, my journey gets so easier. So newspaper teaches me comprehension, point number one. Second, of course, it keeps me up with what is happening. So suddenly, if I'll be thrown some facts in the monthly magazine, I'll not be like कि एक महीने का खाना एक साथ खाना है. I know the developments gradually. I know कि कुछ मुद्दा चल रहा है. Magazines, I'm going to revise it. So second, it gives continuity to understanding of current events. And third, very important, it teaches you to write as well. आप notice करना, with 3 months of regular newspaper reading, the style of writing, of how you write your answers also improves. क्योंकि आपको समझ में आने लगता है sentence framing, how to write, what should be the flow of your answers. सो मेरे हिसाब से न्यूज़पेपर्स आर वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. You should give some time of your day to newspapers. I don't want you to give 4 hours, 5 hours, 3 hours. Of course, that's not doable, not reasonable. But 45 minutes is what you can allocate. नहीं समझ में आ रहा है क्या पढ़ना है? Again, we share it on our Telegram. You can at least pick up those editorials and read. But of course, since you're not giving 2 hours or 2.5 hours to newspaper, उससे आपका एक समझ में आ गई चीजें. You are aware of what is happening, but you need to consolidate everything. That's where monthly magazines can be helpful. And as I said, Core magazine is been diligently drafted for that very purpose. आप चाहें तो उसको यूज कर सकते हैं. It's absolutely free. We share it on our Telegram channel. The idea is simple. मंथली आपने सब कुछ अपने आप एक बार न्यूज़पेपर से रीड कर लिया. नाउ यू आर कंसोलिडेटिंग एवरीथिंग इन मैगजीन. सो नाउ यू हैव एवरीथिंग एट वन प्लेस along with the static revision. तो इससे क्या हुआ? आई एम एबल टू आंसर बोथ सेट ऑफ क्वेश्चंस, one which were derived from current affairs and one which were directly from current affairs. So for me, newspapers and monthly magazines. Now some of you are overwhelmed, कितना करना है मैम? See, I could have just told you NCRT, Lakshmikant and move ahead. But that would be keeping you in dark. You should know what you are signing up for. But you should also know that you don't have to do all of this from the word go. Eventually करना है, एक एक करके start करना है, but करना है. So, if you were looking for some quick fixes, there are definitely no quick fixes. You have to do the work, you have to grind, you have to sit. So better do it the right way. One little suggestion from my end that can make that 1 or 2 marks ka difference. Make it a habit to visit government websites. Now, कैसे इसको विजिट करना है? जैसे फसाए keeps coming in news that ask you a question on फसाए, that ask you a question on enforcement directorate. So we do it as a part of our class practice. You can take it as your homework. कि I read about in the newspaper about enforcement directorate today. I'll just see enforcement directorate की website. I'm going to see the about us column. फसाए की वेबसाइट पे जाके आई एम जस्ट गोइंग टू रीड द अबाउट दिस कॉलम. आई एम गोइंग टू नो ओके रिस्पॉन्सिबल मिनिस्ट्री कौन सी है. आई एम गोइंग टू सी व्हाट इज द स्ट्रक्चर. इज इट अ स्टैट्यूटरी बॉडी? स्टैट्यूटरी है क्या? कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल है क्या? अ क्विक ओवरव्यू ऑफ द अबाउट अस सेक्शन. दिस हेल्प्स यू आंसर दोज 1 or 2 क्वेश्चन जिसके लिए सब बोलते रहते हैं लक्ष्मीकांत में नहीं है. क्योंकि हमें पता नहीं. वी विल कॉल इट पॉलिटी, वील कॉल इट जीके. व्हाट क्वेश्चन इज दैट इफ दे आस्किंग यू अ क्वेश्चन ऑन फसाए? Answer to that question is, if you see a ministry, a agency in news, have a habit of visiting its website. It hardly takes 7-8 minutes. 7-8 मिनट तो मतलब मैं बोल रही हूँ आप ऐसे ही वेस्ट कर देते होंगे. पक्की बात है. 10 minutes तो इज नथिंग फॉर यू. फोन उठा के 10 minutes वेस्ट हो जाता है. सोचा नहीं था वेस्ट होगा पर हो जाता है. सच बोलना. राइट? दैट्स अनदर थिंग दैट वी नीड टू एड्रेस बाय द वे. सो हितेन, नहीं करते हो वेस्ट टाइम. चलो बढ़ गया, अच्छी बात है. But what I'm hearing from a lot of people these days is they're not able to keep track of these 10 minutes slipping here and there. अच्छी बात है if you don't waste it, but that's okay. So newspaper, monthly magazines, websites of agencies, of any ministry in news, just go on to the website, look at the about us section, move ahead. Okay. अब मैम हम न्यूज़पेपर तो पढ़ते हैं, बट व्हाट शुड वी फोकस ऑन? लेट्स मेक दैट ऑल्सो सिंपल फॉर यू. सम मॉन्यूमेंटल एक्ट पास हुआ है, सम वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट जुडिशियल जजमेंट, समथिंग 50 years हो गए किसी जुडिशियल जजमेंट को. Some judicial judgment, it's been 25 years, it's in news, it's being discussed. You have to prepare it. Some committee is in news, some commission is in news, some constitutional amendment is in news. Constitutional amendments, monumental हो गया ना. Constitution has been amended. What's going to make you read polity if not a constitutional amendment? Big thing. So these are the focus areas that you have to look out for when you're reading your newspapers and when you're compiling or reading your monthly magazines. ये तो करना ही करना है. If there's a new scheme, some judicial judgments, bills, acts, some committees in news, some commission is in news, constitutional amendments has to be your focus. Now, some of you have been telling me कि मैम ये लिस्ट बता दो. बिल्कुल बता सकते हैं. If many of you want it, let me know. We can make a list for you and share it with you. You can use it and kind of use to make your short notes. Let me know if that would be helpful, and I'm going to do that. But before that, फटाफट से quick check on you. Basics clear, NCRT, Lakshmikant, DD Basu, and current affairs. Have we laid the foundation? How many of you feeling already कर लिया? करा नहीं है? ठीक है? अभी सिर्फ जाना है कि करना है. We have only set the course right. But are we here? Have we understood everything? बढ़िया बढ़िया से. Okay, I've noted down the list वाला thing and I'm going to make a list and share it with you. क्या कहते हो? Do you feel you are confident now? Come on, a quick show of energy. So many of you in the meeting, but not many of you in the chat box. क्या बात है? But ma'am, English newspaper does not come in village, only monthly magazine. So in that case, Chaitrali, as I told you, visit our the Telegram channel. We share this PDF every day. You can use that. Okay. So yes, I've noted down the list wala thing. That's my promise to you. Awesome, Nandini. Beautiful, lovely. I like the energy. बस इसको carry करना. Now, the extra edge that I was talking about. Ki, okay, I am done with basics, I'm done with Lakshmikant, I'm done with DD Basu. I have also understood current affairs, ma'am. Ye extra edge kya hai? I want you to look at some of these questions. Look at this question on due process of law. Look at this question on defining state. Which one of the following best defines state? अभी मैं क्या बोलना चाह रही हूँ सुनना. These are the questions that we see and we think that this is not given in Lakshmikant. So now I have to do something extra for it. Now, okay, perhaps state is not defined as a definition in Lakshmikant. Liberty is not defined as a definition, but that does not mean it is not there in the book. That means you're supposed to do a little extra work here. Little extra work here, matlab. I've made a list of some topics for you, which you should put a check list on that I understand these terms. Once you're done with your entire polity, I'm going to give you this list also. ये सारा content आपको कल Telegram पे मिल जाएगा और after this session or tomorrow morning, you're going to get all of these PDFs. So just sit with this list and just keep tick marking it. Yes, you'll get the PPT also. Don't worry at all. All the material will be shared with you. It's for you, so it'll definitely be shared with you. So just put a tick mark. मुझे rule of law समझ में आता है क्या? नहीं आता है तो go and read it. और YouTube पर watch a 10-minute video on it. Or of course, if you're part of class, we clear it for you. कैसे भी करो. But make sure that these concepts are clear to you. You know what is due process of law. You know what is contempt of court. You know the difference between liberty and freedom. This list has been crafted based on the conceptual questions that have been asked from your PYQs. So this is like a checklist for you. Most of these you will be able to check even after reading your Lakshmikant DD Basu also, I know that. But this is going to give you confidence कि मैं ऐसे questions भी solve कर सकती हूँ या कर सकता हूँ. So just sit with this list after the end of your preparation and put a tick mark. Whichever you think you're not very confident, you're not able to explain constitutionalism. So go and clear it up. As I said, YouTube, so many resources available, and you're done with this extra edge also. Now I have some bonus tips for you. But before I move on to the bonus tips, अच्छा चलो बताओ, has the session been helpful to you so far? Can I ask you for something? Can I ask you for something? कुछ मांग सकते हो तुम लोगों से? बड़ा डर रहे हैं क्या मांग लेंगे पता नहीं. So nothing great. I have just realized that after taking all of these workshops, I've realized that even people who attend workshops and after these workshops, they just forget about that workshop. एकदम भूल जाते हैं. So मेरे को ना चाहिए कि तुम मुझे कुछ प्रॉमिस करो. I want some promise from you. And that is not for me. Trust me, that is for you only. But इसको ना I want to formalize it a little. थोड़ा formal करना चाहती हूँ मैं. And what I want is I have prepared a draft for you. And it is not even a promise to me. It is a promise that I want you to make to yourself. I don't know whether the screen is visible to you. Can you see this screen? Are you able to see this draft? एकदम proper. मेरे को इसको अच्छे से करना है. Are you able to see this? So what I want you to do is either take a printout of this, read every word written here very carefully, sign it, and share it on the Telegram channel. This is like an accountability check that whatever we have discussed today, you are going to apply it. This is not a promise to me. This is a promise that you're making to yourself. I want you to take a printout of it and stick it in the front of your study table and keep looking at it again and again, 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 and again. Please do it. You don't realize what is the importance of it in the long run. Written commitments आपको याद दिलाते हैं. It may look like a very funny exercise to you right now, but this is something that we need to do to stop getting into the loop of बस workshop attend करी, भूल गए, and we are right on our life का path. Yes, it will be shared with you, but I want you to share it with me back. कैसे करोगे? You're going to sign it, you're going to scan it, and you're going to put it on the Telegram channel. We are going to make arrangements as to how you can share it. So how many of you promise me that you're going to do it? मुझे जवाब चाहिए, जल्दी से बता दो. How many of you say you're going to do it? And don't do it for me, do it for yourself. Read every word, commit to it, sign it, take a printout, put it up on your study desk, and make it a promise to me as well. आप चाहे तो उसको लिख भी सकते हैं, आप चाहे तो उसका प्रिंट आउट भी निकाल सकते हैं. गुड. सो नाउ लेट्स कम टू सम बोनस टिप्स. So I'm going to tell you something. I love it. Beautiful, lovely energy. So then you and me are on the same page. Now, I want to give you some bonus tips. And the bonus tips is, if you look at PYQs, there have been repeated questions from preamble, fundamental rights, TPSPs, and fundamental duties. मैं बताती हूँ what is the idea. They ask you questions like, how many types of liberty are given in preamble? In which order do these words appear in preamble? So, my dear students, memorize fundamental rights, preamble, DPSP, fundamental duties. They even ask you questions like, कि भैया ये वाला DPSP, which article is which DPSP? Which one of them is a fundamental right? Which one of them is a DPSP? And which one of them is a fundamental duty? So the return on investment is super high if you memorize. Verbatim memorize कर लो preamble को. Verbatim मतलब word to word. Super helpful. And I'll tell you something beautiful. If you memorize these, no, these can be super helpful to you in your answer writing also. पता है कैसे? Some question you can relate to preamble. Some question you can relate to that fundamental right, that DPSP, that duty. So you keep asking how to make answers, value addition कैसे करें. This is your quick fix. So these five areas, these four areas I want you to memorize. I make a promise here. I'll be making videos on all of them. They are already in the pipeline and we are going to share it on our YouTube channel, which are meant to help you memorize these. So I'll help you memorize which article is related to which DPSP, which article is related to which fundamental duty. And we do this memorization exercise in our class as well. So I use mnemonics, I use these storytelling method, and we use associative learning, whereby I help you memorize it along with the articles. खुद से भी कर रहे हो तो make sure that you memorize them, please. Super important. This single step is going to help you in your prelims and mains both. Similarly, repeated question from schedules. So please memorize schedules also. Schedule 1 में क्या है, Schedule 2 में क्या है, Schedule 3 में क्या है. What are schedules? Think of them as appendixes, my dear students. So Constitution के बाद we have schedules which give you details about the provisions in the Indian Constitution. जैसे हम कोई book पढ़ते हैं, if we add an appendix about the details of a particular thing from that book, the details are added in that appendix. Similarly, we have schedules. So for example, I have to look at the salaries and the emoluments. Then I'll go to the schedule of it. So second schedule is going to tell me about salaries and emoluments. Or I have to look at seventh schedule. It's going to tell me about how the powers are distributed between the center state and what is the concurrent list about. याद कर लो. First schedule, second schedule में क्या है, third में क्या है, fourth में क्या है, fifth में क्या है. Please memorize it. Then, my dear students, make sure that you memorize the parts of the Constitution as well. First part is about what? Second part of the Constitution. Third part of the Constitution. Fourth. So, like how you have chapters, the Constitution is divided into parts. So, you should know what part of the Constitution deals with what. And articles का तो मैंने आपको already बता ही दिया. You have to read it from Bare Act. So, this is like a checklist. कि मुझे प्रियम्बल तो आ गया मैम, फंडामेंटल राइट्स डन, डीपीएसपी मेमोराइज्ड, ड्यूटीज मेमोराइज्ड, schedules done, parts of the constitution done, and that pretty much solves a lot of things for you. Now I'll take a minute and also tell you about the essentials course that is starting soon. If some of you, I mean, I'm sure some of you are already in the course. If you're not in the course, the pre-launch discount is ending. So you would want to sign up for the course. The pre-launch discount code is PL10. A little 1 minute quick idea about the course, since some of you wanted to know about it. See, how we make this course different is we move in a phase wise manner. So usually the programs are designed like this कि एक बार आपको polity करा दिया and that's the end to polity. So that's not how we do it. We do polity in phases. For example, some of you who are going to join me in the essentials course, we start with polity prelims, polity basics, which is your NCRTs. So we start with foundation. We help you with understanding NCRTs first of polity. Then in the basics phase, we move over to the basic, that is Lakshmikant, and of course our own notes, our own value additions to it. And in the third phase, we teach you mains level. अभी मैं बताती हूँ इसका फायदा क्या है. Even if you don't sign up for the course, तुम भी ऐसे ही पढ़ना. You also read it like this. The benefit of this is once you're done with polity, now you're going to do it polity only before you write exam. That way you lose touch with polity. When you do it in a phase-wise manner, the entire content is fresh. So when we move to basics phase, we again revise judiciary. The point is you can't prepare a subject and just leave it, right? You just can't forget about it. So make sure that you read it in this phase-wise approach. Also, just to tell you, the classes are absolutely live. The teachers are the mentors, so you don't get separate like kuch or mentors. The faculty is mentors, so they know what your struggles are. And also, yes, the recordings are available to you. So it's not that it's only live. You get them for 3 good years. So that's also one benefit of it. मैं current affairs की बात कर रही थी. You get access to current affairs. So effectively, if you think about it, the course comes out to be about 8,000 in a year because ultimately you get the benefits for 3 good years, be it your mentorship or be it your recorded sessions. So that was, of course, some of the basics. Or if you want to know, we are also going to share numbers. You can ring up or you can read the course brochure. By the way, the detailed schedule is also available on the website. So you literally know what we are going to teach on my birthday. मैं अपने बर्थडे पे क्या पढ़ाऊंगी वो मुझे आज पता है. तुम अपने बर्थडे पे क्या पढ़ोगे तुम्हें आज पता है. So make sure that you go and check that schedule. Moving on, my dear students, there's one more tip that I want to give you, which I also want to show you. So some of you were asking me, ma'am, how do we memorize so much content? One thing that you can do for memorization is, my dear students, make tables. Super super important to make tables. अभी मैं tables क्या बोलना चाह रही हूँ? I'm just going to show you how this table looks like. Just let me know. Are you able to see the screen? Just a confirmation, please. Are you able to see the screen? देख पा रहे हो क्या screen? Cool. Awesome. Lovely. So this is the table that I'm talking about. एक बार देखो, just take a look at it, okay? So, my dear students, this is a table about the constitutional bodies. So, what we have done is, in one table, we can revise all the constitutional bodies in one table. Which article? What is who was the first holder? Who is the latest holder? Single member body, multi-member body hai. What is the constituents of it? What is the function? This way, all the constitutional bodies are summarized in one table. Now, what is the benefit? Before my exam, I can just take multiple readings of it and I save myself from reading 7 or 8 chapters of Lakshmikant. This is how you have to make tables. Now, किस के बना सकते हैं? You can make similar tables for your statutory bodies. You can make tables for your emergency का chapter. We also provide these tables on our Telegram channel. उन्हीं को download कर लो. But please use tables for revision. They are super helpful. They save your time. They also save your effort in very many ways. So please, you have to use these tables to your advantage. करना है ये हमें. So how do you make this table is बहुत सारे तरीके हैं. You can use AI for it, but बहुत संभल के use करना. मतलब content अपना देना. If you don't want to use AI, तो आप खुद से भी बना सकते हैं. You can use the same parameters and just copy paste it. खुद से बनाओगे तो the chances of you remembering is it better. हमने जो शेयर करी है वो भी यूज कर सकते हो. बट दीज टेबल्स शुड बी पार्ट ऑफ योर पॉलिटी प्रेपरेशन. दे डेफिनेटली मेक योर प्रेपरेशन मच इजियर. यस. Abhijit, sorry, Telegram channel. Okay, so you're not as a part of Telegram channel. I'm going to share the link here. मैं share करती हूँ link. So you can just search upscprep.com. You can just search upscprep.com and it will be visible to you. Abhijit, right? Okay. Now, this was something that I said before as well, but I'm going to repeat it. Please maintain an error log. What is an error log? It is called as diary of mistakes. कहाँ मेरे से गलती हुई, कौन सा क्वेश्चन गलत हुआ, क्यों गलत हुआ, कॉन्सेप्चुअल एरर था, फैक्चुअल एरर था, was it a conceptual error, was it a factual error? Please write it down. Please write it down. You don't know the compounding benefit of this little exercise. बहुत ज्यादा beneficial है. Over time, you literally have a diary of your own mistakes. और क्या चाहिए? Before UPSC catches your mistakes, you are catching your own mistakes. So please do it. Now, of course, we are going to end it. But before I end it, I have to tell you what not to do. Because बहुत सारा मैंने बताया कि क्या करना है. But I want to give a disclaimer about what not to do. Please don't start solving random MCQs. कोई क्वेश्चन मुझे दिख गया, मैं इसको सॉल्व कर लेती हूँ. Don't do it random. Do it topic wise. Do it based on current affairs. Do it from credible sources. Don't solve random MCQs. They're only going to make your life difficult. If you're part of the course, we give you DPQs, daily practice questions. If you're not part of the course, buy good books or just solve PYQs. But please don't solve random MCQs. Time save होने से ज़्यादा waste होता है. प्लीज डोंट मग अप आर्टिकल्स क्योंकि किसी रैंडम यूट्यूबर ने बोल दिया कि भैया आर्टिकल्स बहुत जरूरी है, लक्ष्मीकांत से काम नहीं होता, तो आई विल स्टार्ट मगिंग अप आर्टिकल नंबर वाइज. प्लीज, इट डज नॉट हेल्प. So don't mug up articles, only learn them with a context. Don't read 4 sources of the same topic, I beg of you. 5 books, some fancy book in the market, I'm going to buy that. One more fancy book in the market, I'm going to buy that. What are you trying to do with your money, with your time? Do you really have so much of time? Please commit to the sources. Commitment is a very big thing in this preparation. So please commit to the sources that you have decided for yourself. एंड मैं तुमसे रिक्वेस्ट कर रही हूँ, रिविजन मत भूलना. मेरे लिए, अपने लिए, मुझे आके थैंक यू करोगे. यू आर गोइंग टू थैंक मी लेटर. बट प्लीज स्पेस आउट रिविजन इन योर प्रोग्राम, इन योर स्केड्यूल. मुझे डेडिकेटेड टाइम चाहिए तुम्हारे स्केड्यूल में रिविजन के लिए. आई बेग ऑफ यू, प्लीज रिवाइज. मतलब मैं अपने स्टूडेंट्स को बोलते बोलते थक जाती हूँ कि रिवाइज कर लो. आई नो रिविजन इज डिफिकल्ट बिकॉज योर ब्रेन सी क्रेव्स नोवेलिटी. अच्छा लगता है कि नया पढ़ते हैं यार, दिस आई हैव ऑलरेडी डन. So we don't like to do new old things again and again. But the beauty lies in doing that difficult thing. So इसीलिए मैंने एक रिविजन का भी तुम्हें प्रॉमिस पॉइंट लिखवाया है. I want you to make sure that you focus on revision. I'll tell you a very simple thing. You are not judged by the examiner based on how many books you read. Examiner को पता ही नहीं है गिरिजा ने कितनी किताब पढ़ी है. Nobody cares how many books you have read. Nobody cares. Trust me. You may have been a scholar reading 10 books. Who cares? Are you able to solve your MCQ in your prelims? Are you able to write your answer in your mains? That's what I care about. So please, 4 points to sum it up. Do not start with random MCQs. Do not mug up articles without context. Don't read 4 sources of the same topic. And please don't ignore revision. With this, मुझे जो बोलना था, I have given you all the pointers, trust me, required for starting this preparation. You really don't need anything more than this. If you do this diligently, do it in the right manner, I can assure you are going to come back and tell me, yes, ma'am, I was able to solve questions and it helped me. The only thing would be if you attend the workshop and forget and do it in the ways that you have been doing it, kabhi pada, kabhi nahi pada, revision nahi kiya, 10 different sources se kiya, then I can't help you. So tell me, have we understood everything? And then I'll move to your questions one by one. What do you think? Have you understood all the ideas, sources, dissection, current affairs, कैसे पढ़ना है, PYQs क्या हैं, why not? Has everything settled well? बढ़िया से. Beautiful. I like it. Awesome. Very good. I appreciate it, Nandini. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yes. If you have any of the feedbacks, please let me know. I'll be happy to read them in the chat box. Or you can even email it to me at neelam.bhatia@upscprep.com. You can also connect with me on my Telegram channel, that is Saral by Neelam, and of course upscprep.com. Ab I'm going to take all your questions. एक एक करके. So if you have any questions, you can put them up in the Q&A. Take good care of yourself. Those who are leaving, God bless you. And I wish all the very best for you. बहुत अच्छे से करो यार. You sign up for a program, a course, exam like this, you have to give your best because there's so much that goes into this preparation. I know it. I want you to make sure that you make best use of it. The resources that I discussed, the cluster-based PDF, this PPT, the promise document, and what else did I promise? Yes, all of this will be shared on our Telegram channel. So make sure आप Telegram पे हैं and you can get it from there. Okay. And please don't forget to share the promise. I want all of you to sign it and share. ठीक है? That would be like a little thank you अगर कहना चाहते हो तो. Okay, so chalo, let's look at all the questions one by one. Yogendra says, hello ma'am, in polity problem I experience is that the mix-up of articles with view of interpretation. Hota hai Yogendra, that's a very common problem. The only solution to it is revision. That is why I said make sure that you dedicate some time to revision. Will be very, very helpful. So also maybe understanding a bit of a context rather than just reading articles. Context plus article is what is going to help you, plus revision. Anonymous says, ma'am, does it also help us in PSI like this webinar? So we are planning a webinar on PSI also very, very soon. You can attend that, Anonymous. Ma'am, I'm doing the last year chemistry bachelor's degree, but I want polity or PSI as an optional for mains. बढ़िया है तो बढ़िया अच्छा है. PSI is a good optional. People take it from all the backgrounds. If you want to take it, you can take it. नहीं और भी कुछ explore करना चाहते हो तो you can also look at sociology. Chemistry, I think, would be not a good choice here because of course technicalities involved. But if you want to go into the PSI wala domain, then Ladiangun, is that the correct pronunciation? Please forgive me and correct me if I'm wrong. You please attend the PSI workshop that we are soon planning इसी month में, that is in the month of March, the coming month. That will be helpful to you. Harshal says, ma'am, I have PSI as an optional. I have studied polity, okay, but unable to retain the knowledge for prelims 2026. Can I complete polity in 15-18 days, PYQ practice included? So Harshal, depends. 2026, this webinar was not for 2026, but what I'm assuming is you're done with your NCRT and base books. If you're done, yes, you can absolutely read, revise, and complete it in 15 to 18 days. If you have done one reading of Lakshmikant before, कर सकते हो बिल्कुल. And human capacity की तो limit है नहीं. You can definitely do it. The problem that you get with retention is simple. You read polity and you forget. You don't come back to it. My problem is you have to revise it right now. अब भी करना है revise. पढ़ लिया revise, 1 week revise, 1 month revise. I guarantee you will not forget it. So Harshal, एक deep introspection question करो. Did you really revise? If you'll introspect, the answer will be with you. Because I don't think with revision you will forget. Thank you, Anonymous. I'm so happy it was helpful. Ma'am, mains question कैसे करूँगा? So we'll plan a dedicated mains webinar also. This was primarily for people who are starting, है ना? So introspection, please, Harshal करेंगे and we'll be able to do it. Swati, does Bare Act is needed while reading NCRT? No. No, Swati. No. It is to be done when you're reading your Lakshmikant. He then says, ma'am, I have 3 years to prepare for UPSC. If possible, can I roadmap of how I can manage every subject? Hitain, very good time. 2 problems. When you start too early, you may feel you have a lot of time, but eventually you will not have time. So make sure that you use 3 years to your advantage. Time is in your favor. There's nothing like it. Make sure that you use it to your 200% advantage. With regards to roadmap, we will be coming up with more such webinars in future. That can be a way you can see the web approach. Also, you can visit our channel. वहाँ पे dedicated videos हैं. I have made a video prelims separately, main separately. Polity you can get from there. Similarly, you can see Abhijit sir video for geography. And that's how you can devise a plan and study. Big problem would be Hiten, people who have a lot of time make plans and don't execute it. तो मुझसे promise करना है कि वो नहीं करना है. Sujal says, I want to take polity as optional. You mean PSIR? PSIR के लिए ना Sujal, this is not the right place. As I said, एक बढ़िया dedicated webinar we'll be doing. Please join that. It's also going to be free. You come. I'll only be taking it because I'm a PSIR optional teacher. I've been teaching it for long now. So I'll be walking you through PSIR का absolute basics, कैसे पढ़ना, क्या पढ़ना, everything. You attend that. Abhirup says, ma'am, it's 1.5 years into preparation. Yeah, of course, I know you. Abhirup, how have you been? I have attempted pre last year. Just now, I've noticed my mistake. I missed the polity question, like some like due to my attention, and some like constitution explicitly says. So, ma'am, wanted to know how to handle such questions. Bilkul. Abhirup, diary of mistakes hai hamare paas? Do we have diary of mistakes? Question number one. How many times have we revised? Did we follow the advice of solving questions after every topic? थोड़ा ना हम introspection भी करेंगे. Because we know where the problem is. What I can gauge, Abhirup, is problem of lack of revision. You really have revised 3 times? कर लिया क्या? तो फिर तकलीफ है. Have you really revised 3 times and still not able to answer, Abhirup? Can you answer that for me? Have you revised it thrice and still not able to answer it? हाँ, तो then I want you to get serious. In that case, what you should be doing is please open your diary of logs and see where you are making that mistake. Concept समझ में नहीं आया क्या? Is it mistake because I am not reading the question correctly? Is it a mistake because I am not able to recall? So is it because I am not focused enough? तो फिर मुझे थोड़ा सा काम करना पड़ेगा in solving more MCQs. If it is a problem of recall, then I'll have to revise once more. There's no shortcut, Abhirup. If you have that diary of mistakes that I asked you to maintain, please email it to me and I'll be helping you specifically कि क्या problem आ रही है. कोई डायरी बनाई है क्या? Have you noted where you have made mistakes? है क्या हमारे पास? No. क्यों नहीं बनाई है भाई? तो वो चाहिए ना मुझे. I want to see the pattern. See, pattern identification is the biggest thing we have to do. Please. Pattern identification पता चल गया तो I'll be able to see where I'm making mistakes and I'm not able to repeat it. तो ये सब लोग सुन लो. If you have not, if you are starting your preparation, error log has to be a part of your preparation, please. Ma'am, is there any specific book for polity PY? लक्ष्मीकांत वाली बढ़िया है वो ले लो. Mains also we'll be having a workshop soon, Sanjay. Please attend it. And this Arihant publication is also good with PYQs. Sanjay, they have this Ignite series. But you can also go for Lakshmikant. Just Meher, ma'am, will all the study material be provided or we have to arrange it as a part of the essential course? I'll be providing you absolutely. Bilkul, bilkul. Joshika, I to remember you. Ma'am, I've completed my foundation course already, but I feel more conceptual clarity on subjects like polity, science, and tech. Is there any possibility to access only these? Acha, Joshika, where have I seen you? Have you been a part of an older webinar? Yes, the classes are absolutely in English. No English, it's in English. Um, Only access these modules. I'm not very sure, Joshika. Maybe you can write to UPSC Prep team and they'll be able to help you better. I'm sorry, but I don't think such a provision is available. But you can still check. Shreyant says, ma'am, I'm targeting 2029. Wow, 789. Beautiful. How should I start? Same. Start with NCRT. Start with NCRT. Move over to basics. Have a worldview. Read current affairs. Newspaper अच्छे से पढ़ो श्रेयांश. You have that advantage. So be aware of what is happening around you. Be curious. Know things. You have the advantage of digging in a little deeper. You have the advantage of completing NCRTs first and being very good with them. Learn to write. Many of us don't know how to write. अभी जो मैं बच्चों के साथ problem face कर रही हूँ in my optional classes is they don't know how to write. तुम्हारी गलती नहीं है. A big gap in how academic writing has literally, I mean, koi nahi likhta, nobody writes. So learn to write, Shreyansh. Just write one paragraph every day. The compounding result would be in 1 year, you will be prepared to prepare. ठीक है. Yashi says, ma'am, is the price 8,000? No, no. So I was saying, Yashi, if you see it, the benefit of 3 years, so ultimately it comes out to be 8,000 in a year. Total price को अगर 3 से divide करोगे तो it's like a 8,000 rupees. Effectively, I was saying. And if you're facing login ka problem, Yashi, please email to upscprep.com. They're going to solve it. Ma'am, where can I practice PYQs? अरे अभिरूप तुम तो कोर्स में हो. You must be having your DPQs. Hiten, I am Hiten, currently in my first year of engineering, aspire to become an IS officer and contribute to the nation. Lovely. As I have around 3 years ahead, I would like your guidance on how to begin. If there is a specific question, Hiten, then you write to me. Okay, neelam.bhatia@upscprep.com. ठीक है. Is Lakshmikant in Bear Act with DD Vasu Yashika? Yes, enough. Jasmeer says, can you please elaborate about the classes a bit more? About the essentials classes? Okay, I'll do it. So how we do it, Jasmeer, is we do it in a phase-wise manner. So I'll give you an example of polity. We start with polity NCRTs. So I help you cover all the NCRTs of polity. We lay that foundation there. Then we move over to basic phase. अभी पहले सारे subjects की we do NCRT. In the next round of it, we do the basics. Basics is about your core books. For example, in polity, your Lakshmikant associated concepts. And then we move over to advanced phase. Advanced phase में just में we prepare for mains. Answer writing, GS2 का basics, governance, IR. So this is why we call it as phase-wise approach. And that's what I want you to do even if you're preparing on your own. समझ में आया? How we connect monthly to share progress and share the blockers. So Aditya, we have mentors allocated in the Essentials program. You can book a mentorship call with them and you can discuss your monthly progress with them, blockers, etc. Mentorship is there for with you even after the course. Any recommendations for engineering students who are currently in their college? Okay. For polity or in general? I believe Ratna, it ends tomorrow at 12, the discount. Hello, ma'am, how to organize the things in Can you be a little specific, Puneet? Do you want me to give some advices on generic or some advices specific to polity? Ma'am, how to organize the things in polity? Ha, very good question. I like that. Organizing is put up a folder. Lakshmikant ke alawa, all of that should go in this folder. All my memory techniques for DPSP, fundamental rights, for your schedules are going in this folder. A4 size sheet, this, clutch it, and you keep that folder with you ready. For your, क्या बोल रहे थे? What was I saying? Yeah, there was something I forgot. Huh. So I was saying for your current affairs, I recommend your, again, loose sheet, name it current affairs, Super 30, 30 topics will go here. Rest you can do from your magazine. I don't recommend making notes for any other thing. Vatsala says, please start public administration option. मेरा तो expertise नहीं है public administration, but I'll definitely convey your request, Vatsala, to the management, to the authorities. Okay. Ma'am, I want to join your course, but due to financial, Satakshi, you can write to prep team again. By the way, where are all of you coming from? How do you get to know about the webinar? I am curious to know. Please write in the chat box. So Satakshi, what you can do is you can write to prep team, email kar do, and I'm sure they're going to help you. Ma'am, I am unable to understand how should I use PYQs to prepare my subject. Before your preparation to understand the topic, कैसे questions पूछ रहे हैं, the trend, after reading that topic to solve subject specific questions so that you know whether my answer is correct or not, whether I've understood the topic or not. Ma'am, you said NCRT, Lakshmikant. Yes, all have to be read. Correct. How to differentiate mains prep with that of prelims means how I can distinguish this. Okay. Anonymous, I recommend attending our mains workshop after this, which is again going to be free. But how you distinguish is you don't need to distinguish, actually. There's no distinguishing feature here. You need to read fundamental rights to be able to write mains answer on fundamental rights. The difference is you have to go in depth when it comes to mains. Mains में आते आते I have to go in more depth. Getting my point? ठीक है. Okay, nice, Satakshi, great. हाँ, so Joshika, you can write to them at contact@upscprep.com. Just a minute, I'll just check. Yes, contact@upscprep.com. Cool, cool, awesome. I'm 27. I'm a woman. I've prepared for UPSC for 3 years now. I took a break for 5 months. Should I prepare again? I'm in double mind to prepare because I've been feeling like a failure. Oh, should I give it another chance? बिल्कुल दो यार. The good thing is you're already with your dad with your business. You already have a backup plan. Trust me, there's so many people who don't have a backup plan. So what is there to lose? नहीं होगा तो फिर से you join your business. I don't recommend giving all into this exam without a backup. No, I don't want to quote a sugar picture for you. Even by after giving your best, you may not clear. सच्चाई है ये. The better you accept, the quicker you accept it, the better. But if I were you, I'll take that risk because I'm 27. Considering I were you, and I also have my dad's business. बहुत अच्छे combination है. You should give your best. You never know what works. This may be the time that it would work. Particularly if I know that I've not given my best, I'll definitely give it. Do UPSC course will provide the books? Books, Aditya, not books, but we give you notes. Books to nahi. I don't know. But you can ask the team. What I know is we give you notes. Ma'am, I already joined in. Nahi, anonymous. It's the same. No, no. Hi, ma'am, could you tell the proper order to read? Yes, I'll be sharing that PDF with you, proper order with clusters that you can follow. Madhvi, you can also watch my YouTube channel for contempt of court type of questions. Saral by Neelam Nal se mera YouTube channel hai. I make these 10, 10, 11 minutes videos on short polity concepts. If you want, you can check that also. That can be helpful for concepts like due process of law, procedure established by law. 10 minutes videos are there. If you want, you can check it. Saral by Neelam. Okay. Um, और क्या रह गया? Ma'am, I have a problem of forgetting things and making short notes. हाँ. So, revision. There's no other way to stop forgetting. How can you use PYQs wisely is while you're solving PYQs, one, note down your errors. If you discover a new concept, note it down in your notes or in your Lakshmikant itself. The only solution to not forgetting things is revision. आप में से जितने लोग बोलते हैं ना हम भूलते हैं, I'm sure you don't revise. मतलब that's my hunch. Correct me if I'm wrong. Ma'am, economics workshop, yes, it is scheduled. No, NCRT के notes बनाने की पुरंदर जरूरत नहीं है. It's waste of time. No. Just mark there only, circle there only, highlight there. You don't have that much time. If you're somebody writing in 2029, then you can do it. Ma'am, is there any specific book for polity PYQs? As I said, I find these two good. Arihant one I find good, and one more book is your कौन सी book और है? Lakshmikant itself. Lakshmikant, the PYQ version, the question answer version. Yes, Suvankar, yes, just add DD Basu to it. What is your YouTube channel name? So Hiten, it is Saral by Neelam and UPSCprep.com pe I teach. So both the places you can find me. How to differentiate mains prep with that of prelims? I think I answered that. Okay. Same questions coming now. Yes. Abhirup, just send me at least 10, 11 errors so that I can draw a pattern. Okay, Jashika, fine. Start with Lakshmikant Anonymous. How to select a right optional. एक काम करना, go to my website, go to the blogs column, सरल by नीलम website पे blogs column पे जाना, उस पे एक blog है how to choose optional, उसको read करना and watch one video that Abhijit sir has made on upscprep.com on optional. These two are going to solve your problem, promise. Spend 1 week, clear out your optional, कौन सा लेना and then stick to it. It's like a commitment. Same questions are coming by. Zehra, I think I'll recommend sir to have a newspaper reading session with you. कैसे रीड करना है, he will be the best person to guide you. Email ID is neelam.bhatia@upscprep.com. जिसमें है, थैंक यू। ठीक है, ओके। Telegram channel, as I said, Saril by Neelam and UPSCprep.com. I think I've answered all the questions. कुछ रह गया क्या? If I join Essentials course, everything will be. What do you mean by everything, Asif? If you mean notes, yes. If you mean classes, yes. If you mean value addition material, yes. If you mean questions, PYQs, DPQs, test series, yes. Sanjay says, ma'am, now I'm in my final year of graduation. Next, thinking to do MBA. So, what would you suggest? Whether I need to go with MBA or with MBA कर लो और फिर करना. You secure your career first and then you do this. If time is in your favor and if no financial pressures are there, you don't need to start working immediately. Thank you, Joshika. नहीं तो financial, if you are in your graduation and if you think you don't have any career backups, पहले backup बना लो please. Very important for preparing for this exam. एक backup तो होना चाहिए, unless of course you come from a family background where you don't need money immediately. I'll be honest, you need background in this. मतलब वैसा अगर है कि you don't need to contribute to your family etc., then take the risk. Otherwise, secure yourself first. Yes, Pravalika, can you rewrite it the question here? Ma'am, I have had public ad in graduation, but I don't get it easily. Should I go with sociology or public ad? I can't answer that question for you, Vatsala. Spend time looking at the PYQs, looking at the syllabus, zero down on three subjects, and then choose one. Oh, how sweet of you, Asif. I'm going to take a screenshot of it. That makes my day happy. Okay, then, my dear students, we'll have to call it a day. If something still remains, I'm not able to address it here, then you can write to me on my email ID, neelam.bhatia@upscprep.com. For any specific questions, I'll be happy to answer them there. Okay, neelam.bhatia@upscprep.com. ठीक है. I'll repeat all the links again. You can find me on neelam.bhatia@upscprep.com. You can find me on Telegram on Saral by Neelam and UPSC Prep. Can you, Puneet, reshare it, please, on upscprep.com? You also find me on upscprep.com's channel, and you find me on Saral by Neelam ka YouTube and Instagram. So if you're not connected in all of these places, please connect and I'll be happy to have you. What are the top 5 polity topics where UPSC repeatedly traps students in prelims? Couldn't find the questions tab as I've joined from website. Acha. So you're asking, there's no one answer to it, but I would want you to do fundamental rights, DPSPs, preamble, and judiciary and schedules very diligently if I have to pick 5 topics. But I don't suggest going for these top 5 topics, predictions. ये सब अपना अपना गेम बनाते हैं, तुम्हारे लिए कुछ नहीं है उसमें. Don't fall for these prediction videos. If it was that easy to predict UPSC, then फिर बात ही क्या थी? You can only follow PYQ trends and patterns. That's it. About say 50 to 60 days, Kavya. So what I'm trying to say, Pravalika, is these are low hanging fruits. ये तो हमें करने ही अच्छे से. But that does not mean I'm not going to do other chapters. It does not work that way here. Matlab, what I'm saying is don't fall in for these 4 chapters done and polity done. Does not happen like that. Cool, then rest of the questions I'm going to answer on my email ID. अपना ध्यान रखना. Or take good care of yourself. God bless you. Puneet, any recommendations for engineering students? See, I'll tell you 2-3 problems that should be taken care of from your background. Good thing is I've seen engineers are pretty good with MCQs. My general analysis is they do very well. They find problem in writing. So please sit down and ask yourself, do I know how to write? And dedicate some time every day for generic writing. Say like you just summarized the editorial. You've just written 1 paragraph, 2 paragraphs like that. Second, start building up your NCRTs so that by third year you're done with your NCRTs. Newspaper reading should be done continuously, and then from fourth year onwards, you systematically begin with either a course, or if you're doing it on your own, then NCRT, base books, and then advanced preparation. So, one good advice would be please learn how to write. I've seen engineers struggling with expressing what they know, and zero down on your optional by fourth year. Those would be some recommendations. ठीक है, चलो, bye bye, take care. I'm going to see you soon. God bless you. Stay connected. If you have any feedbacks for today's workshop, good, bad, ugly, anything, most welcome to write, and I'll be happy to read you. Bye bye. Take care, and all the best.